A very good morning to all of you listeners. Welcome back to your own channel, and today is the 186th day of your godly blessing. Before we go ahead, let's have a look at the link above, which takes you towards yogasanas, flexibility, diet, and sleep patterns, and enjoy them. So let's go ahead with today's blessing. In today's blessing, Baba is trying to change one of our sanskars, which I think everybody has got. 100% of the population in the world has got, that is looking down upon other people or having some form of dislike in others. I don't like this or I don't like that. We even tend to put some religions or put some communities or put some cultures into disdain and don't like them. For example, I don't like South Indians, I don't like North Indians, I don't like Delhiites, I don't like Americans, I don't like anything, any sort of thing which you don't like. Or I don't like their food, I don't like their habits, I don't like this culture or that culture. That is also a dislike. God says that's where if you don't like them or you dislike them, then how can you come into my sight or my vision as somebody who is sweet and kind and benevolent like me? How can you be given a title of being my child? Think about it. So that's one habit which God wants us to change. Let's have a look. What does he have to say? Baba says, may you be knowledgeful. Knowledgeful doesn't just mean having the knowledge of all the scriptures, having them completely mugged up, every shloka, everything, and you feel that you have become knowledgeful. God says that will become even more egoistic. That will bring in a lot of ego within you, having the knowledge of Shastras and not having anything changed in your thoughts, in your behaviors, in your thinking. So Baba says, may you be knowledgeful and finish any vision of dislike with your merciful vision. Merciful vision. God has got mercy and we are his children, so we are master merciful children. Let's get into details. Baba says, the children who know the sanskars of one another, I know what is good in you and you know what is good in me, or bad in me and bad in you. So in a family too, we also know what is good and bad, what are the weaknesses in each other. We know it very well and we catch it very fast, and that's where the problem lies. And even though we call it a family, but we are the first ones to actually not trust, not like them, or maybe even laugh at if suggestion is given, or if we try to improve and if we try to bring upon some improvement or change ourselves, and then we try to help one of our own family members. Mostly those family members, they just laugh at us or they make a joke about it or take it lightly or whatsoever it is. So God says that is also not a good habit. Like we had discussed yesterday, taunting is also not purity. So Baba says, the children who know the sanskars of one another, we know what is good and what is bad in one another. And when we take this spiritual knowledge, our eyes become even more sharper in catching the bad in others and bad in the world also, right? Because we get the knowledge of good and bad. So we tend to, because having an intellect of Iron Age, we tend to incline more towards finding out the faults in others after getting the knowledge. Yes, that's what happens in some of us. So Baba says, be aware of that and have the deep love. The children who know the sanskars of one another and have deep love for transformation of sanskars. If we want that, yes, I love to change myself, I love to help others to change them. If we love that deep transformation of sanskars in us and others, they never think this one is always like this, oh she's always like this, oh this is her habit, oh he's always like that, he's always thinking like this, he's always so dumb, he's always so narrow-minded, he's always like this. So all those things are not taught by knowledgeful children. That's what God says. Think about it. Such children are said to be knowledgeful. Okay, so that is God's words. They look at themselves and remain free from obstacles. They only look at themselves, that what is my weakness. They don't focus on other people's weakness. First of all, they don't have the vision of comparing or competing with others. They are competing with their own weaknesses. They're comparing themselves with their own past. How much have I changed? Instead of focusing on others, getting jealous or competing or trying to put other people down. That's what happens when we compete. We have to put other people down. So God says, they have sanskars of being merciful like the Father. Their vision of mercy finishes the vision of dislike. So if you are God's child, if I am God's child, I will not look down upon others. I won't talk about other people's mistakes or talk about what is bad in them or what is wrong in them. God says that is not mercy. So Baba says their vision of mercy finishes the vision of dislike. Such merciful children never have any conflict among themselves. If we don't look at the worst in others, we won't talk about it with others. We won't have any form of negative vibrations created around, whether it's whether it's in your family, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's even at the Brahmakumaris center. Think about people living at the center and looking at each other's weaknesses. What will happen over there? How will that atmosphere be there? Will that meditation be good? Will people who come over there have the vibration of purity over there? Will they feel it? No, not at all. So your house, your home also is, Baba says, God says, like a center. Make your house like a center. To make that as a center, stop looking at each other's weaknesses. Husband looking at wife's weakness, wife looking into husband's weakness, parents looking into children's weakness, blaming, complaining, or children looking into parents' weaknesses and complaining, blaming, and disdain and dislike. Stop, Baba says. That's not being knowledgeful. That doesn't mean that you are very knowledgeful, or if you have the Shastras and all the different scriptures, or even the Murlis which we learn in Brahmakumaris. If you got all the knowledge and still you're looking at the weakness and wrong in others, then you're not knowledgeful, Baba says straight away. Baba says such merciful children never have any conflict among themselves. Okay, they become worthy and give proof of themselves. So we become worthy of what God's love. If you're not listening to God, if you're looking at other people's, your own brotherly souls, because they're also children of God, if you're judging them, putting them down, disliking them, then you're trying to take God's role. Well, God also doesn't dislike anybody. We can't say that God will punish you for what you have done. We are nobody to judge anybody. God says don't dislike them, focus on yourself, because you've done so many sins in your own life that you will be punished more than anybody else. And plus, adding on to that, if you look at other people's weaknesses and you judge them, that's another sin which you're doing. So judging is also sin which comes onto yourself. We feel sad, we think about that person the whole day, and we are thinking negative thoughts, so you become negative. You're thinking impure thoughts, so you become impure. You become sad, you become moody. That's the reflection of the sin which you're doing, or the fruit of the sin. Feeling that mood swings, feeling sad, looking down upon others is also a payback for the sin, which is judgment. Judging others is also a sin, so you get a payback by having a mood swing or having sadness throughout the day. Stop doing it. Bless yourself. Be in God's light. So I leave you with this beautiful blessing. Think about it deeply, and if you have any comments, if you have any more suggestions, and if you think there's something which is missing which I haven't said, please add to it in the description box, in the comments over there. So I leave you with this beautiful Vardhan. Have a blessed day. Stay safe. Stay home. Om Shanti.